Well, we are after the Daytona 500 for 2021. Um, well, I'm exhausted. It was a long race, a long day. We started with our preview show at 12:45, and we went to 2:30. We had a almost 6 hour delay. We finally got the race going. It was, um, you know, able to we were able to get some people winning, but I mean, coming down to that finish, I think warranted another um, warning about racing on plate tracks, and that is it's dangerous and stupidity results in bad wrecks. And um, Skins, I can see you're upset. Yeah, I can totally understand that. Listen, I'm happy for the team, for Front Row Motorsports. And I'm happy that we did get an underdog winner, but at the end of the day, this shit needs to stop. I am so sick of seeing wrecks that are so dangerous, and I don't know if this was another case of somebody just having too much momentum, but at the end of the day, the two at the front completely got taken out, and it took out Kyle Busch, who was my pick, took out Austin Cindric in some hellacious hits, guys. Like, oh my God, that hit that Kyle Busch and Brad Kay took, and Brad is pissed, and I don't know who he's pissed at. It wasn't really revealed. Like, he didn't really come out and say who it was, but I'm very curious who he said he was so upset about. I don't know if that was his teammate, but if it was his teammate, then potentially that might be the last year we see Brad Keselowski with Penske Racing, because he did not seem very thrilled at that. And it very well could have been two people, could have been three. Um, I want to hear from you guys what you think. I'm barely holding on here. I've been doing live streams every single day since Monday, and my voice is it's pretty well used up. And it's I know we're really late and into the morning here, but yeah, Albert, I'm pissed, but maybe pissed for a different reason. Um, I'm pissed at the stupidity of the first track, and then of course of this wreck at the end of the race. I don't know what it's going to take. I thought last year was going to be a clue enough that they're so close to getting somebody killed again with some of the moves, the blocking. Um, I don't know what it is, guys. I am not okay with the way people are racing each other on the track, especially in the last couple minutes. And you know what? As much as I'm happy for Front Row to see that, Michael, good enough for him. I know Skins that you'd rather Joey Logano. I wouldn't have rather Joey, but I just the blocking, man. People need to be smart here, and drivers are not being smart. You know, I'm surprised that you're saying Bubba needs to improve, Albert. He wasn't really involved in the finish at all. Um, he didn't really have any. He wasn't a factor in the end because of the vibration that took him out of the contention. So, but it was bad, guys. Like I just keep thinking about that wreck and how severe Brad Keselowski's hit was, and him getting up there was fire. Like this, it's just unnecessary. We saw finishes where you can have people battling side by side, you know, to the win. And Kenneth, I agree 100% that we are getting close to potentially. I know they're bragging about how we haven't had a fatality since Dale Earnhardt. Well, they're definitely heading that way if they're not careful. The race, I don't know what it is, if it's the drivers that are coming up, if it's the runs that they're getting, but something has to change here, because the dangerous moves that they're making on the racetrack are going to get somebody killed or going to get a fan seriously injured or killed. Honestly, I know racing is a dangerous sport, but we don't need to remind The fans already know that. And we want to make sure that they did racing for so many years on the plate tracks, and it did not result in such agonizing and horrible looking wrecks. Obviously, there's always been some wrecks that were bad, but um the just the just the severity of these wrecks, it just looks like, especially with Keselowski, I'd be pissed too if I was in his position, um if and this is, I think, part of it is, okay, Joey can just admit that Brad had a run and was going to get past him. You know, I understand, Skins, that the cars are much safer and they can take big hits, but we saw last year they can take big hits and it still be severe enough that they can have injury, right? We don't want to see that. By far, Denny Hamlin was the best tonight, easily the fastest. He was dominant again. And you could tell, and I mean, maybe it's kind of really why I'm not a fan of him, but he just sounds like a little whiny bitch at the end of the race. Like, I know he's upset he didn't win, but you fucking won like 3 already. Like, relax, but I get it. I mean, he wears his emotions on his sleeve, and he clearly had the best car but couldn't go anywhere. And I want to know what people think. A lot of people on social media are touting it as like the worst 500. Honestly, it's probably up there for me. When you lose, half the field in the first 20 laps, it doesn't make it for a really good race. And essentially what happened was, I almost felt as if NASCAR had said to the drivers, okay, everybody calm down. What you're going to do is, we want you guys, we want to make it because we want this race to finish tonight. We have this window. So stop fucking around, stop causing wrecks, just make sure that you don't make mistakes of some sort. And they ran up front, I ran up top for the remainder pretty much of the race. And it's not a 500-mile race anymore, guys. It's not. Okay. Back in the day, it was so important, to last 500 laps, because the engines wouldn't last, the cars wouldn't last. You could get involved in a wreck. We don't have that problem anymore, guys. We didn't have an engine failure today. We very rarely have mechanical problems that take people out. And yeah, the choo-choo train, Kenneth, it sucks. It absolutely sucks. And they used to do this shit at Talladega and Daytona and not wreck. And for whatever reason, I don't know what the situation is, guys. I really don't. I really want to know where this came from, where all of a sudden it's just like and I wonder if it's actually Brad. I know this might be controversial take here, but what about Brad Keselowski in 2009? And he turned Carl Edwards, and Carl, Brad was underneath him, and Carl turned down, and Brad got into him. Thank you so much, Kenneth. Yeah, it's late now, so my allergies are all screwed up. But they used to be able to race 188 laps at Talladega. They'd have one big one. That was it, guys. One. And that was kind of it. You didn't have multiple wrecks, Dan Larkin, thank you so much for joining in on the chat. Daytona making temporary heroes out of zeros. Yeah, absolutely they did. And Albert, I agree with you 100%. It is stupid that they try to get the manufacturers a win instead of the individual. But you saw at the end of the day, Albert, that was not a manufacturer win. That was an individual trying to win the race. No chance in hell that Brad Keselowski was actually trying to push Ford to victory lane. No. He was going to try and win that race. Same with Michael McDowell. That's kind of a fucked up process, because the manufacturers dictate and say that they want a win for Ford or a win for Chevy or a win for Toyota. But in reality, okay, thank you so much. This is actually a garage sale. pickup, actually, Kenneth. It's a good deal. It has never been worn before, so it's a nice leather front to it. But you know, how stupid is it? No, really, really, guys, and I'm really passionate about this. Okay, why do we work together on pit stops and then it comes to the end of the race and we just say, fuck it, I'm just going to push you out of the way and win? Essentially, if you look at it today, Michael McDowell could have gone to the high side to get by Brad Keselowski. He could have. And like I said, again, I've been watching now for so many years that I don't really, I'm not upset when certain people win races. I'm not overly thrilled when others, like, it's just, it loses its kind of importance to me as you grow up. It's just kind of like you accept who wins and who doesn't. I see a lot of younger people on social media just like blasting people for winning and not winning. But at the end of the day, it's the same situation as we had all week long, guys. I was talking about it in the preview show. I was talking about it during the rain delay yesterday. It's the runs that people are getting. They're getting pushed way too hard, and they've got nowhere to go. In this case, Michael McDowell knew what he needed to do. It is. I'm glad that it's done, though. And if I'm being completely honest with you guys, the Daytona 500 means nothing. You know, um, Sean Griffin, McDowell, what a class act, and not scared to thank God first. Way to go. Listen, I'm actually I would much rather political beliefs and religious beliefs not make their way into all forms of motorsport, really, like the doing the prayer and stuff like that. You don't see that in other sports. But listen, I respect the tradition and I respect where people come from. If that's what he wanted to do, all the power to him. I'm a semi-religious guy, but good for him. He's allowed to do that. And McDowell, Dan Larkin, thank you again, Dan, for tuning in. I think this is the first time I've seen you on one of these. Same with you, Sean Griffin. I really appreciate it. McDowell seems like a really nice guy, but NASCAR's ridiculous super speedway package and racing format just took a back of the pack guy to victory lane, the most prestigious race, all the money spent. It's not been the first time that we've seen this, though, right? We have seen a lower guy, Trevor Bayne, winning in 2011, and you would arguably say he probably wasn't any better than Michael McDowell was. Yes, it was the Wood Brothers, and Wood Brothers is a great organization, but Trevor Bayne wasn't worthy of winning the race. Like, let's be honest, that was because of the way that the super speedway package was. Those days of people deserving to win the race, really, it's not there anymore, guys. This is the way that NASCAR wants it to be. You can't tell me that Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano, that they won their races the old-fashioned way. Nobody's done it in the last couple of years. Sorry, I just want to make sure I do get all your comments here. Skins, he never deserved to win. I'm not sure if you're referring to McDowell or somebody else, or we are referring to McDowell because you say Logano and Hamlin were way better. Again, it's the package, guys. That's how these races go nowadays. Kenneth, I was at work today during the first part of the race, so I missed the first part of the race and the wreck, so I may have to go back and watch first part when I got home around 9. It was back on. Kenneth, I wouldn't bother. The only thing that happened was the big wreck on lap 15, which was a fucking joke, and it took out half the field. In reality, guys, I'm giving this a D in terms of good Daytona 500s. This was not a good Daytona 500. The racing sucked all race long. It was essentially what I felt was a NASCAR decision to probably try and get the race finished. Okay. And I get it. That's probably what they wanted, right? They wanted it to get it done. Dan Larkin, you want to see emerging talent win this race or a remarkable guy winning this race? Absolutely, 100%. It's great McDowell won. It's exciting for all 13 of his fans, but anyone else who tuned in or first-time viewer, again, I only look at it. I look at it a little bit different there, Dan, in that he, I like that he had been trying for many years and that he has worked in backmarker teams most of his career. And Front Row Motorsports, which has undoubtedly Bob Jenkins has been around the sport for a long time. Now, just so we're not confused, it's not Bob Jenkins that was a broadcaster. It's a massive snoo fest and massive fail when next week McDowell finished off absolutely. It doesn't. That's the difference, though, Dan, is that they put their ploy in super speedway racing as, oh, it's an equalizer for everybody. Well, it's not really. Let's be honest here. Okay, I want you guys to seriously think about this. Okay, is super speedway racing really, is it really an equalizer, or is it because everybody crashes out and there's only a couple cars left? You know, um, that's essentially what super speedway racing is. It's not all about it. Jaden, thanks for tuning in, bud. Hope you enjoyed the race. Skins, did you see Keselowski's tires fly off? I did, and actually one of them hit Cole Custer's right near his windshield. So again, talking about dangerous, right? Albert, I really think there should be a limit on how many car manufacturer cars they could have in the race, i.e., 10 Toyotas, Ford, Toyota. Um, yeah, yeah, I think that's very hard because you can't really do that. You can't really tell a team that you can't run this and you can't run that. What I think would equalize this, though, is having more manufacturers. And I know people might be against this, but just hear me out. Obviously, when we had Dodge, we had Pontiac in the past. Those were basically the other manufacturers since I've been watching racing. But there's other ones out there. Kia's possibly interested. BMW, you could get, I don't know, Mazda, Nissan, Hyundai. There's some really nice renders out there with these kind of made up cars. But um, at the end of the day, to me, it's a Trevor Bayne story where I think it's going to be, he won the race and he's going to go down as a winner, but essentially, is it going to change his career? Is it really going to change anything for Front Row? No, it's not. Whereas if it was, say, a Bubba Wallace or a Ryan Blaney, yeah, it would have been a bigger story. Absolutely, it would have been. If it was Denny Hamlin, it would have been a way bigger story, obviously. Denny's still, being sour at the end of the race. He still has lots of time to win a fourth. And I really think he can, actually. Dan, don't get me wrong. I'm a longtime fan, too. I think it's great. McDowell, yep, same as me. The guy has been trying hard forever just to make the show. A hard thing to remember is he wasn't starting park stuff for a long time. So in a way, I know people are going to not like the comparison here. He's very similar to Matt DiBenedetto. Okay. He didn't get the chance that Matt DiBenedetto did, but essentially it's the same type of deal where he didn't really have much of a career. And then a team kind of took a chance on him. And now obviously he's won the Daytona 500. Kenneth Terry, I knew they started riding up top. I thought, here we go again, just not as good as the 90s. Growing up and watching as a child, absolutely. I really, Jaden, I know you're a younger fan. Listen, go back and watch plate racing from the early 2000s. You will not be disappointed. You will see 43 cars being able to run in a solid pack for over 100 laps and not wreck every single person. Yes, they did have their big wrecks, but it was one big wreck and not five. Okay. Jaden, yeah, it makes for a good story, but long term, no, it doesn't really do anything, right? Albert, I think Kia would be kind of cool. Yeah, there's been rumors, that we'd see other manufacturers, especially when the new car comes in. I think we can say that Dodge in our series, in the NASCAR Pinty series, is actually the most it is the only major manufacturer. Like, we have Chevys as well, but Ford's essentially not really in it, and Toyota is not in our series at all. So we basically just have Dodge, and they run the Challengers, and those cars look fucking pretty. Those things are gorgeous. And I can use that. I think they'd be beautiful. I think a BMW would look fucking sick in this series with a new car. Yeah, I think they'd look real nice. Mazdas as well. Really, essentially, these passenger cars, man, people need to be more open. And unfortunately, there is a large majority of the NASCAR fan base that feel that other companies from other nationalities should not be involved in racing. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. If you're the only American brand should be, no, stop with that shit. It's national.
Okay. It's a national series. It's NASCAR. It is for everybody. Okay. And bring any sort of manufacturer, because you know what? What comes with manufacturers is more sponsorship. When Toyota first came in 2004, they brought a hell of fucking sponsorship into the truck series, and they continued and brought brand new race teams. That's what you want to see. Okay. So hopefully, if we get Dodge coming back, if you get maybe Kia, Mazda, Hyundai, Nissan, fuck, if you can get Jaguar or something like that, McLaren, who knows, right? um, Kenneth Terry, McDowell, maybe like Trevor. Trevor won the 500, and that was it. Yeah, that's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think he'll get this win. It'll be big, and for all we know, he'll be out of the sport in a couple years. Like, honestly, I've kind of thought that McDowell was going to be the guy. Actually, okay, in reality, guys, my pick, McDowell was going to be out of the series. You know, last year. I really felt that they were front row was going to bring Todd Gilliland up, and that was their plan. And Michael was going to be gone. Dan, after Newman's near-death experience, I'm over plate racing with the current talent pool and racing package. The cars may be safe today, but NASCAR is treading a line that is going to be crossed. You know what? I said it earlier, and I fucking agree with you, dude. Dan, that is so damn true. I feel like they're trying to get to a point where somebody's going to get killed. Like I wouldn't. I can't believe I'm even saying that, but you saw how many fucking times that they replayed that Ryan Newman wreck. Okay, why are they doing that? The guy almost died last year, and you're constantly showing it. And then they had the balls to brag about how safe it is, right? So, Rob James, thank you for tuning in, but I'll get to your comment in a second. Stephen Gibson. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry, Jason. Jason Lander. Think Dodge ever comes back? Yes. Yes. You heard it here. I say yes. Reason being, today on race day, Ram sponsored a segment. Why the hell would they be sponsoring segments and not be interested in coming back? It makes no sense to me. Guys, if you're first time checking in on the channel, please subscribe, like. We're trying to build up the channel. We are here every single week. We will be commenting on NASCAR races. So definitely, guys, tune in. I really appreciate it. I'm fired up now. It's really early in the morning. I'm overtired, but I'm glad to see you guys hanging out with us. We're chatting about the race. I want to hear from you guys. You know, I want to hear those opinions because I'm fired up over the fucking stupid finish that we just saw. Listen, I'm cool with a front row car winning, but I'm tired of seeing fucking people wreck. And listen, in that big fiery crash that we just had there, listen, you got to remember Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, these guys have kids. Okay, if their kids are fucking watching that race, can you believe it? Like, would you be like, as a kid, seeing your dad being involved in a fucking wreck like Ryan Newman's kids had to see last year? Like, seriously, they've got to be a little more responsible out there. So Jason Lander, thank you for tuning in, bud. I really appreciate it. Think Dodge ever comes back? I said yeah. Stephen Gibson, thank you for tuning in, bud. That race was a snore, in my opinion. 90% train racing only because of the lap 14. I don't know if it was only because of the lap 14 crash, really. You also had a huge amount of cars that were not even close to competitive. You could have had Ty Dillon, Noah Gragson in this race, and because of some fucking bullshit rules, they're not in this race. And you had 4 Rick Ware cars plus 2 Starcom cars that were a flipping joke. You had the Live Fast team that was, again, way underpaced. So it was not good. It was not good. Jaden, it would be better if someone like Bowman, because they could bring momentum the whole season. Absolutely. You know, and not to mention, Bowman is still trying to make a name for himself in NASCAR. Listen, he stepped into Jimmy Johnson's seat. Okay. That you're going to have a lot of people kind of like, I don't really want to support this guy because I don't know him. You know, a lot of people were like that when he took over for Dale Jr. They weren't really supportive for him then. So, you know, it is going to be, it's going to be tough. Skins. I always tried messing up your name, Skins. They should add Bugatti Veyron to NASCAR. Hell yeah, Bugatti car. Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. Rob James, thank you for tuning in. I don't think I've seen you before, Rob. So thank you for tuning in. Awesome to see an underdog take a checkered. It's what I've been wanting for the entire weekend, was an underdog to win. We almost got it for the truck race. Almost had 2 of them win in the truck race. And so it was kind of nice to see an underdog team finally take the checkered flag again. Dan Larkin, I hate seeing replays of Newman. Makes my skin crawl. Newman shouldn't be here anymore. You're right. When Keselowski caught fire and Chase started to lift, and Chase was starting to lift, uh, I was so convinced that Keselowski was going into the catch fence, and I was really worried. Like, I'm here by myself, guys, right? And I'm like, damn, I hope he's okay. Like, it wasn't even just that fucking Kyle. If you guys go back and watch Kyle Busch hitting, okay, hitting that car, oh my god, that thing hurt. Now you could tell Kyle that hurt. It was tough. It was very tough to see. And then Austin Cindric with oh god, the flames and everything like that. Like, just not something we want to see. It needs to stop. Um, Kenneth Terry, I'm so glad you did this post race since I missed everything earlier today due to work. You know what? I wasn't planning on it actually. It was a long, it was a long fucking day, guys. I did our preview show. We started at 12:45, and then I did a rain delay thing for 2 hours, and I wasn't planning on doing a stream, but I figured, the race, and I'm kind of fired up, so I figured, we try and see if we can get some more viewers and some new subscribers and basically, I don't even fucking call it friend. Like, you guys are friends. It's not even that. It's you guys are friends. Listen, the racing community, we need to all be accepting of one another, and you'll find, listen, if you like Michael McDowell, I'm cool with that. If you like Kyle Busch, I'm cool with that. If you're Denny Hamlin, I'm cool with that. I'm not going to disparage you for liking who you like that shit is just so ridiculous. We see too much of it, and we need to be more supportive. Racing, we need more fans. That's just the reality of it. Albert, I'm not gonna say that Mickey Mouse crap, because that just starts down a rabbit hole. But if you believe it was a Mickey Mouse win, listen, you're allowed. You're entitled to feel that way, man. I just don't like that. I would say the race was crap. That's essentially what it was. Rob James, Roper was totally ripped off. I agree in that finish, but at the end of the day, momentum is key. Jordan Anderson, if anything, if he just had an extension on that truck, he would have won. And like I said before, I said after the truck race, guys, I'm not a fan of Ben Rhodes, and I don't condone violence, but for whatever reason, I'm not even a violent guy. I just want to punch that guy in the face. I don't know what it is. It's just one of those guys that, man, it kind of like I used to feel about Kyle Busch. Anytime I used to see Kyle Busch's face, I just feel like, oh, I just want to punch that guy in the face. But Steven Gibson, I hate seeing them use Newman crash for promoting. Yeah, they do it a lot. I would like to see them use more racing footage and not crashes. Yes, but you know what? Here comes a Cam rant, okay? Because this is what I was saying on social media. All right. This is what NASCAR wants. You want to say that you don't want to see them promoting the product like this. This is what NASCAR wants. They promote via crashes, because that's all of a sudden become what they feel race fans want to see. Wrong. I like racing. I don't mind a wreck. I think when I was a kid, I actually did watch for wrecks. Do I go back and watch wreck compilations? Yeah, I do. I think a lot of people do. But Jaden made a very good comment in here. I know I'm falling behind on the comments here, guys, and I think I actually missed Jaden's comment that I wanted to actually comment on. Yes, it was. It's live TV. People can be traumatized seeing something like that, seeing people die. So I didn't watch 2001 Daytona 500. I started watching in 2002. But there was a race that I did watch where somebody did die. Okay, multiple. And mind you, they've all been IndyCar races. I watched that race with Dan Wheldon's death. Traumatizing. I watched Justin Wilson's, and that one was really emotional for me because I was a huge fan of Justin Wilson. But the first one, and that has scarred me for life and will always hurt, is Greg Moore's death in California, because I was a huge, he was my first racing hero. And if you guys don't know Greg Moore is a Canadian IndyCar driver for team players who died in a wreck. You know, just seeing it live, man. It was broadcast live, and it was tough. And I really thought that last year I saw Ryan Newman die. Robert Wickens' wreck, I thought I saw him die as well. You don't forget that. You don't. And I think I just saw it again. Jaden, for a 10-year-old, you're a pretty smart kid. Remove the double yellow line. Yeah. Yeah. Remove it. It's causing more wrecks than it is fixing. Okay. That's reality nowadays. People are being just too stupid on these tracks. Blocking, trying to preserve the win. Like, I don't know if Logano was making a move on Keselowski. They didn't really show close enough view. But for me, not a good move, right? To go down and try and block. It just doesn't work, right? Oh, okay, guys, I'm so far behind in the comments. I really do want to get all of your comments because I really want to show. I really do appreciate you guys all tuning in. It means the world to me to have people come in here. Kenneth, I felt a little concerned when Kyle Busch didn't get out quickly. I agree with you. I thought that he was injured because of the people just sitting at his car. Jason Lander, great show. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Jason. That means a lot. I have to say that 34 is always there on the super speedways, and this will give them momentum. I don't know about that, but plus he is a road course guy. We may see him great. I actually think next week he will be very good because Michael McDowell has a lot of experience on the Daytona road course, unlike a lot of the Cup field. So I think that he could be very, very good. Stephen Gibson, thank you, Stephen, for a comment. Man, don't forget that Cindric made that contact Cindric made that caused the fire. Yeah, that was. You know what it gave me back was Romain Grosjean. I'm like, where the hell are these fireballs coming from? Like this shit's not normal. We don't normally see this in our racing. So yeah, it was tough to see there. Kenneth Terry once again. Sorry. It's really hard to like just one driver and not have multiple favorites. Absolutely. Skins, Harvick, Denny, Logano, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, all those racers should have won before McDowell. Yeah, but that's just the way it goes, right? This is what they do on plate racing. Skins, didn't Ryan Newman even say he wanted to forget about the crash and the kept showing? Yeah, of course he does. Listen, again, he's got two little girls who obviously were more than likely watching the race. And I just remember being devastated thinking that I saw him die live and thinking, oh my God, his girls probably just saw, and they were at the track, if I'm not mistaken, actually, and they may have saw their father die in front of their, like, that's horrifying. Like, just, you know what I mean? So people, they've got to be smarter in plate racing. Dan Larkin, looking at stuff like this, can we really question why guys like Edwards would just quit? Can you imagine what some of the vets would think about plate racing? You know what? Dan, you know what? That's a great question. That is an excellent question. Ernie Irvan was called Swervin' Irvin for a reason. He was not well liked because of how he raced. Joey Logano is starting to get that reputation where a lot of people, including his teammate, are not fans of him, not fans of how he races. So he would be one of those guys. Do I think the older, the vets, I don't feel that vets and people that are still connected to the sport are allowed to speak out on what they think is right or wrong. I think that there's a lot of control from the higher ups to make the product sound as good as it possibly can be. Today, they were selling this race as being, really, really good. It wasn't. We know it wasn't. We know this race was not great. Okay. But they tried to make the best out of what they could with basically a train race, Dan, Rob James, there is nothing wrong with a couple wins by unknowns. There is a problem with dominance. I agree with you. I think there's been too much dominance in motorsports, and I think, and this might be a hot take, guys, and I apologize if you don't believe that in this, and if it's completely out of left field, but I actually think that Jimmy Johnson's dominance, winning 5 championships in a row, set the sport back. It's certainly, when I was a teenager, I didn't want to watch it because I was just like, well, Jimmy Johnson's just going to win. And when Kyle Busch was winning all the time, Kyle Busch is going to win. Now I've gotten to kind of an age where it's just kind of, I just enjoy racing, right? And I think because of COVID and everything like that, we're learning to just accept, racing the way it is, and just be glad that we have it. Um, Dan, how many of these vets jump into these cars in the 500 and think, holy shit, I don't want to do this anymore, it's too dangerous? I would think Carl Edwards, I don't know if he did it because it was dangerous or if he was just frustrated. Um, that's a good take, though. I think he could have thought that, yeah, this is extremely dangerous, especially because of his wreck in that last race at Homestead. It was a pretty bad wreck. So I could definitely think that. Kenneth Terry, even though Dale Earnhardt was killed, 2001 was turning out. It was a great race. Big wreck, though. But again, what was similar about it? Okay. What was different about today's race? How many wrecks were there in this race compared to then? There was the one big one and then Dale's wreck at the end. There wasn't a ton of wrecks all throughout the race. There was side by side, 3 wide, multiple laps, a lot of respect given throughout the entire thing. There was just, I don't know what it was today, guys, that was in the water, but people were just being stupid. Wow, I am so far behind, guys. Let me just catch up, okay? So we're gonna go Dan, Kenneth, Dan, Rob. Okay. When Newman's segment was showed him saying, if you saw what was the left of my helmet, I don't want to see this this package anymore. It's a circus. 100% agree with that. Rob James, I was at Daytona. Wow. When Earnhardt died, went into 7-Eleven 10 minutes later and heard he had passed. Everyone inside 7-Eleven was bawling their eyes out. Jesus. Kenneth, I remember Greg Moore, and when he died, he was one of the first drivers to see killed watching on TV. He was extraordinary talent and would have loved to have seen him win the 500. Where actually he was rumored to go was he was actually going to be replacing Jeremy Mayfield at Penske Racing. He was going to NASCAR. He was going to be the Mobile 112 driver, and he was going to be the first Canadian that I would have seen in NASCAR. And that just didn't happen, unfortunately. Okay, so Albert's talking to Rob there, so I'll let that happen. Same as the 3 did in 2018, yeah. Scott Cawthon, this race was horticultural, and I'm not going to finish the rest of that. You can. Okay. You want to go be a troll? Be troll somewhere else, buddy. Yeah, I don't even know what you're trying to say there, buddy. Jade and Lewis Hamilton intensified. Not sure what that's what you're going for there either. I agree. The Johnson team, I remember feeling the same way. Yeah. Yeah. And you aren't wrong about the 5 years in a row with Jimmy. Listen. Okay. They've talked about this in any other sport, guys. Do you want to see somebody win 5 championships? I think it was like Jimmy winning 7 championships in 9 years. Like, that's unheard of, but people don't want to go back and see the same person winning all the time, right? It's why teams like the NFL, NHL, NBA, they always need to be switching things up, and new teams need to be coming and winning stuff because people don't want to see that. I have no interest in seeing the NHL have the same teams win the Stanley Cup every year, the Major League Baseball with the same team winning the pennant every year. It's not, and I'm only picking those because those are mainly the other 2 sports that I do follow. Yeah, Rob, absolutely. I say Jimmy's dominance killed it. And yeah, there's going to be Jimmy Johnson's fans that are going to be sour about that take, but you have to look at it from other perspectives, right? If you're somebody that cheers, everybody but Jimmy Johnson, it's Jimmy always winning. It was like Kyle Busch in the Xfinity series. why the hell are you going to be interested in watching the Xfinity series if Kyle Busch shows up? There was a period where, and this is why they limit Kyle Busch, just because he goes in and he wins all the time. I don't think people want to go to see the races to see Kyle Busch as much as they were kind of tout like Cup guys being in those series. It was better for the series. No, it wasn't. You can't tell me that the Xfinity series and the Truck series are way better um, than you know, than what we've got, you know. Um, it just it's not what we want to see, you know. And yeah, it's cool. Again, if you as a guy, Jimmy Johnson's solid dude, really solid. He's a nice guy. Um, but you know, I don't want to see a straight up dominance year in and year out. You know, um, at this point, I don't think anyone would mind the rules package for the 500 to return a single file parade with small 3 to 4 packs making moves. I don't like that either. Honestly, that was all about the picking one person to draft with. I get that we had some good races there too, but to me, they know NASCAR knows what they need to do to make this work. It's now going to be up to actually properly policing and actually penalizing people for stupid moves. Okay. Um, maybe they have to go with they can't bump draft again. I know that's a very hot take and people are not going to like that, but in reality, what do you do about it? You know, other than maybe stop running these type of races, but they look at it and go, "Oh, well, it's ratings." And I'll tell you right off the bat is I used to love plate races. They were my favorite. But nowadays, guys, they're just it is not interesting. It is literally a wreck fest most of the time. And I will say the Xfinity series, at least, yes, while they did have some wrecks, they were able to at least have a green finish where nobody crashed. I will take that. I will take that because it's a rarity. When they said the last 14, I think this is the last 14 Daytona 500s have had a caution in the last 10 laps. That is ridiculous. It's telling you that people are too aggressive. They don't have any respect for each other and they're wrecking each other. And one of the things that we have to remember is okay, what's the talk all the time about is that NASCAR, there's not enough money. It's so expensive. Well, it is expensive if you fucking wreck half the field 15 laps into a 200 lap race. That's a ton of money. Kenneth Terry, once again, thanks, Kenneth, for all your comments. I really appreciate you hanging out with us. I grew up watching NASCAR in the 90s, and there was nothing like watching Earnhardt, Wallace, Gordon, the Labanis, Jarrett, Martin, great racers and great racing every week. What's one thing that you can say about all of those guys? Maybe except Earnhardt, because he used to rough people up, but they wouldn't they wouldn't just dump each other to win races. No, it's called racing. They raced. They didn't dump. It's why I'm not a fan of Austin Dillon's win. Is he dumped Eric Almirola to win it when he perfectly had a great chance to go to the inside and get past him off of momentum. Rob James, thank you so much, Rob. If NASCAR stopped finding teams and took away, that's a good. I like that actually. I like that. I like that. If they took away points for stupid mistakes like this, that's a good idea. I like that. Yeah. Well, we also have to remember, Rob. We can talk about this, but the playoff bullshit that it is, that also had a lot to do with it. They didn't change the schedule for years. So Jimmy just used the same, they used the same setup they had all the time. Um, and I'll go out on a limb and say I think really Chad Knaus doesn't get nearly enough of the respect that he deserves. Because he still had to set up the car and he had to prep the car and make the changes. And obviously Jimmy had to win by driving it, but I don't think there was anybody better than Chad Knaus. Really, I think Chad is a bona fide Hall of Famer, and he will be. We know that that's going to happen. Dan Larkin, I hated it too, but the 500 is just too dangerous. It's pure insanity right now. I used to love plate racing. The days of single file, yet Rusty Wall is tumbling through the grass was still safer. You're right. Yeah, it was still good racing though. And yeah, you would have wrecks like this, but it wasn't egregious moves. It was pure just mistakes. You occasionally would have some stupidity, but okay, did anybody catch Fox's kind of recap when they came back from the red flag and they showed what Derek Cope was doing in the first couple of laps? Like that shit, he should have been parked for that. It was dangerous what he was doing. And I get he was going for his final race and he, 62 years old, but what the fuck was he doing? Oh my God, he nearly wrecked William Byron twice in the first couple of laps. And the one things that I can always say is you never saw a Labonte. I don't believe you never saw. I could be wrong here, but I don't think you ever saw a Labonte wreck somebody to win a race. They just didn't do it. That's mainly I guess why I really liked Terry was and Bobby were that they were just kind of very, very likable guys. Dale Jarrett was the same way. Uh, you know, uh, Ricky Craven was pretty cool. Um, you know, hell, even Elliott Sadler. How many times did Elliott Sadler get wrecked by people in the Xfinity series while he was trying to win a race? Regan Smith was the same way. He always got wrecked by somebody. You know, so there's a lot of guys. If you go back, like Kenny Schrader, like friggin' great guys. Um, Jaden, just hope that the next gen car isn't Dan Patrick's career. Oh man, we always got somebody that's gonna hate on Danica Patrick. Listen, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I didn't hate Danica Patrick coming to NASCAR, but I did feel it was all for attention. It wasn't for anything other than we need a woman driver. Um, I think her career would have been much better if she had stayed in IndyCar. Um, and she suffered again from the pushed too fast. Listen, she was in the top 10 in points in the nationwide series. She should have stayed in nationwide. There was no need to push her right up to cup, but unfortunately, she suffered from what Haley Deegan is going to suffer. I expect Haley Deegan's going to be in cup by the next like 3 years. I know they're saying they don't want that, but shit. That ain't gonna happen. She's gonna be pushed to the moon. Um, Kenneth, those guys from the '90s just gave you a flat out race from start to finish. They just went at it. You're right, they did. Steven Gibson, Cope shouldn't even be driving anymore at all, and Rob agrees. Um, and Kenneth says, yeah, he shouldn't have been even in the 500. I think we can all agree on that. But it again goes the same way. Listen to what I said earlier, guys. Listen to what I say. What did I say about this? It goes back to the problem with the charter system. You have people buying rides and seats into races when they're not even close. They're not even close to being a competitive car. How many times did they lap past the Rick Ware Racing, the Starcom Racing, and the Live Fast cars in the race today? Really? Like, seriously. How many times did they lap them? When I know you could have seen Ty Dillon up there, you could have seen Noah Gragson because we've seen both of those cars be able to run in the pack. DJ Kennington ran in the pack with the 96 car. And we have seen that in 62 with Brendan Gaughan was up in the top 3 the past couple of years. Kenneth Terry. Oh, sorry. Dan Larkin. No, actually, sorry, Jaden. Jesus, you guys comment so fast. It's hard to catch up here. They should only allow 58 or younger to drive in NASCAR. Listen, they do have a you have to be 18 to be able to be in the Cup Series. Well, you might need to be younger than a certain age, or you need to have been on a racetrack in the last, I don't know, 3 years to be able to run a race. Like you might need, like, you know what I mean? Like they need to take a test type of thing. Like just like you have to do like a rookie test. Well, essentially, if you've been out of the series for a couple of years, you should have to do another one, in my opinion, because listen, your reaction times and everything changes when you get older, right? So, and we don't know, like Derek Cope has had some accidents in the past. I'm not saying that he's had this. That's not what I'm saying. But if you get somebody like Dale Jr., for example, that's had concussions, right? And all of a sudden you're putting them back into a seat that they haven't been in for many years. There is stuff that, isn't the same. So, we could look at that. Dan Larkin, dump somebody at Bristol, Martinsville, Darlington, Dover, New Hampshire, Daytona, question mark. Come on, guys, need to be smarter. It's crazy. There is 20 Joey Logano's on track today, and it's frightening. You're right. You're right. It is. I don't know, guys. I don't know if it's a lack of respect or what, but these are people that have been in the series for many years now. Okay. Rob James, Haley Deegan will do better than Danica. I tend to believe you. She was doing great in the truck race. Very solid, was keeping to herself, but not much you can really do there. New name, actually. I haven't seen you on this before. Corey Ramsey, thank you so much for tuning in, Corey. I really appreciate it. 90s and early 2000s was the best. Hell fucking yes, it was. Loved those races. They were so damn good. There was just no ability to pass. That was a bit of the problem, though, right? Is that they were able to stay in big packs, but then what would happen is that they would, it's like we'll take the 2003 Daytona 500, 2004 Daytona 500 with Junior. It was like 3 cars in the lead pack at the end of the race. So it was great, but there was also some downsides to it. Rob James past champions provisional. Yeah, absolutely. Past champions provisional. Still around. But again, still think that if you've been out of the car for many years, you do deserve to take a refresher course of some sort. Kenneth Terry, our comments are going faster than the race itself. You ain't lying, dude. You guys are. I appreciate it. Really, you guys are giving me. I love doing this. It's lots of fun, and I like seriously, guys. Keep them coming. We'll go a little bit longer, but I got to wrap it up soon eventually. So, it's 1:30 a.m. right now in Scarborough, Ontario, Canada. But Stephen Gibson, they should change charter system if they want to keep it. 20 or 25 cars can have the charter the rest race in, or no, or none. I'm going to say this, okay, Stephen. I know that they want the charter system, but if there is actually going to be 10 or so more new teams that are rumored to be interested, you need to be on speed. They need to get rid of this charter bullshit, and what needs to happen is like they used to have it. You race your way in on speed. And I'm sorry if, say, Denny Hamlin is not fast enough or he crashes, he's out of the race. He doesn't make it. Like that is how you do it at these smaller tracks and in a lot of racing series. If you don't qualify, you don't make the race. Right? So you have to be on your very best every week. I think they should go back to that. I didn't hate the top 35 in order points either. I still think that's better than this bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, if you're going to tell me that a Rick Ware car that finishes 39th in the point standings because they don't ever have any finishes above 35th place deserves to be in the Daytona 500 over a car that could actually potentially get up there and be in the top 10, I'm sorry, that's wrong. It's not the way that it should be. Stephen Gibson, thank you for that comment. I really appreciate it. Corey Ramsey, something about the new cars that just can't pass by themselves. Even the tandem racing was better. You're right. It is. And what I think, Corey, you bring up a very good point here. What Corey's saying is that they just can't pass by themselves. And that's true. But what happens is that they get a bigger push than they ever needed. So now they all of a sudden have this bigger push, more than they needed, and they have too much momentum. And then there's nowhere for them to go. They either hit the car in front or they try to get out of the way and clip the car in front and cause a big wreck. We've seen it every single time. Dan Larkin, Kenny Wallace talked on a podcast about how hard it used to get a license from NASCAR to run the 500. Okay. Dan Larkin, this comment is underrated and it should be very appreciated because it is damn true. Okay. How hard it was to get a license to run the 500, got a charter. Joe Dirt can run the 500 now. I bow down to you. That is a fantastic comment, and I'll tell you why. Quinn Half. Do I need to say anything else? 6 maybe ARCA starts, couple Xfinity starts, yet he can run the 500. Huh? What? Stupid. Just stupid. Uh, Rob James, I think he runs the 00 car. Yeah. That's a good point, Rob. Thank you. I'm not going to disparage Starcom Racing because I think Starcom Racing is much better than their driver is. I think the car was beautiful. Jaden, they won't get rid of super speedways. You're absolutely right. They're never going to get rid of it. Nope. It draws the ratings. That's all they care about. Mav to UAC. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong or if it's all supposed to go together. Any news on post-race interviews with any of the drivers involved in last up Brack? Yes, everybody is okay as far as I know. But I want you, Mav to UAC, go watch Brad Keselowski's interview. He was pissed, very pissed. Not sure who he was referring to, if he was referring to McDowell or if he was referring to Logano, but he's super pissed. I'm just not sure who it was. Very entertaining. Brad K. I love when Brad gets mad. He's so funny. Kenneth, I will say this: Dale Earnhardt, if he was alive today, would not be too big a fan of this type of race. No, he wouldn't. Absolutely not. Okay, so Dale liked racing. Dale did not, as we say, Dale wrecked his fair share of people. Darrell Waltrip basically says, I remember this very fondly. Darrell Waltrip actually had said that he swore that Earnhardt was trying to kill him at Richmond when he turned him head first into the wall. And yeah, Earnhardt made a lot of boneheaded moves. But at the same time, Earnhardt also paid respect where respect was due. And I don't think he would have done a lot of stuff that we see on the racetracks nowadays. I really don't think he would have done it like that. Dan, if the charter system stays, they should be forced to take drivers from a pool of qualified and up-and-coming drivers within the top 15 of Xfinity Series. I'm not sure about what I think about that. I'm going to have to come back to that. It's a very, very interesting idea. They should be forced to take drivers from a pool of qualified. The problem is, though, Dan, it's not so much taking it from the drivers, it's the owners. This is the charter system's got nothing to do with drivers. It's got to do all with the ownership, and NASCAR wants money, exactly as Rob James says. Money runs NASCAR, not common sense. And unfortunately, NASCAR has stopped. Okay. They don't care about what they were before, about being a good racing product. They think about entertainment now. That's all they care about. They want to make sure that they're known as entertainment. They don't want to be known as racing. And I'm a huge fan of NASCAR. I love NASCAR, but we also have to realize as fans, we also have to stand up for stuff that doesn't make sense, right? And criticism is something that they need to take and go with it. And I think for a lot of time, NASCAR doesn't. They haven't listened to what fans have said. So listen up, NASCAR. Fans are talking. This shit needs to change, okay? Kenneth Terry, yeah, you definitely want to check out that interview. It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. Dan Larkin, Earnhardt Sr. would have been an executive role in NASCAR and have been alive now. NASCAR, I 1,000% agree with you. Dale Earnhardt would have probably been a force in the way the series went. I almost feel that we would have gotten more tracks, more diversity from Dale Earnhardt, because and this is for whatever reason, people seem to believe that Dale Earnhardt is like part of the crowd that didn't want diversity in the sport. Far from it. That's just not true. Steven Gibson, Brad will be in the 10 car next year for SHR. He's an fan of Logano. as his teammate anymore. You can tell from his last year's clash in the interview today. I thought, Steven, that he was referring to Logano, not to McDowell, because I think he was mad because he had the run and Joey blocked him. And I don't know what Joey was trying to accomplish if he did end up blocking him, because he wasn't going anywhere. I based off of that interview tonight, like seriously, guys, if you did not watch that interview, I've never seen Brad Keselowski so pissed before. And it was like on his face, in his voice, and in his words. Pissed, pissed, pissed. He ain't going to the company party this year. No way in hell. So 10 car with SHR is very interesting, but we also need to remember something, people. And I'm not going to go out and say that this is what's going to happen, but Alex Bowman and Brad Keselowski's contracts expire at the end of this year. He started his career with Hendrick. I'm just saying he could go there. The main reason I think this is Smithfield Foods controls that 10 car. Smithfield Foods has been with Eric Almirola for 10 years. Are they really going to separate now? It would make more sense, but you know, what can you do, right? Kenneth is going to be surprised if Brad stays at Penske this year. Don't see him there next. I don't see him there. I didn't actually think he was going to be back this year, but from what it sounds like is that there just wasn't a lot of opportunities for him to make more money. So that's why he ended up going back for one more year. Dan, I see all the problems: marketing, development contracts, a really limited charter. What a charter like StarCam can find for drivers, it's a problem that needs addressing. Yeah, it does. And back in the day too, guys. Just what you have to remember as well is there used to be a time where drivers of all caliber would switch teams and go to lower teams. Bobby Labonte was a championship winning driver, and he ended up driving for Petty Enterprises. So he took a big downgrade when he went there, right? So we can definitely look at that and say, like, there needs to be more diversity in terms of switching things up. Rob James is 100% true. The sponsors call most of the shots. You can see it. You're right. They do. Freddie Rosado. Thank you so much, Freddie. I have not seen you on the chat before, so thank you so much for tuning in. JJ Jones, thank you for tuning in. The first time I've seen you as well. Really appreciate it. Freddie says, I'm just going to call you Freddie for now. I think it's, is it Freddie R. Rosado? Maybe that's what it's supposed to be. Or maybe it is Freddie. But we'll go. Think Brad's going to leave and go to SHR. He's done with Joey. Yeah, probably. Corey, I need more short tracks. Gets rid of some of these. Fontana, Michigan, get back to roots. Dude, you're reading my fucking mind. That's all I want is good short track racing. Really, that's all I want. Come up and go to Jacasa in Canada. Fucking great racetrack. They need to go there. And Jaden, yeah, he did almost cut off Vince. And he looked, I don't know if it was the same like Allgaier. If you guys saw Allgaier's interview yesterday, he was giving mad stank eye to whoever interviewed him. He was not happy. Brad was in the same boat. He was not happy today. Freddie, he said it. I can't drive someone else's car. That wasn't to Michael. Hard to say, because technically he could be talking about the move that Michael did pushing him, right? So, but yeah, I did feel it was to Joey, and it wasn't a good one. But I'm not a Joey fan, so I'm kind of okay with it. I wouldn't mind a little team rivalry, guys. I kind of like when drivers get pissed at one another. I don't know what you guys, but I love rivalries. And if I can get a fucking Brad K versus Joey Logano, dude, Joey's a fucking string bean, man. He ain't gonna get nothing on Brad Keselowski, man. As much as people give Brad shit, Joey likes to hide behind his crew members. So, you know, I laugh at thinking a possible fight between them would be fucking great. Kenneth thinks that we're going to see that Keselowski is Rusty Wallace, the bad luck in the Daytona 500. Well, I don't think Brad has had bad luck as much as other people like to wreck Brad. JJ Jones, great name, love it. Brad K goes to Ganassi next year as Kurt Busch is done. I'm very surprised that Kurt Busch would release something so early, but Kurt's going to be in the booth. I think he's already got a career set out for himself. And you know what? I like Kurt. I really like him now. I hated Kurt Busch when he first came into racing. Oh, I couldn't stand him. He was but he was pompous and annoying like his brother was. And again, when these drivers get a little bit older and they start to get their families or they get wives and stuff, they seem to just kind of chillax. Maybe it's just because, you know, they've got somebody else that they can you know, chill with and calm down with, you know. Steven, yes, started there at Hendrick, but Brad seems to be kind of salty about Hendrick stuff 10 years ago. Smithfield does run the 10 car. I don't know if they would be even on the car next year. That's a good question. They don't really have much in the way of promotion. Obviously, they just have the word Smithfield. That's about it. And Eckridge, I think Eckridge is on it as well. So, and Steven does point that this is Eric's last year on the contract. So, I don't know. Freddie is good. All right. Thank you, boss. I appreciate it. Freddie Rosato. Thank you for tuning in, Freddie. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for that. Steven, Jukasa is the Canadian version of North Wilkesboro. Kind of. it's it's a good take. I do think though that Riverside would be fucking great if we could get some sort of a race there, because it's been compared by our Pinty's guys as the Canadian Bristol. So not even Martinsville, Bristol is what they're calling it. So that would be great. Corey Ramsey, as a Ryan Blaney fan, I am more nervous when he's around Joey Logano compared to everybody. Listen, you don't even need to be a Ryan Blaney fan to be nervous with Joey Logano. I said this today on our chat, and to me, Joey needs to be talked to. He's getting like to Ricky Stenhouse territory, and I'm not digging what I see out of the 22. He's a danger on the racetrack. And again, we also have to remember too, this race would have been completely different if we didn't have the big wreck at 15 laps, right? So Jaden, speaking of rivals, does NASCAR drivers fight like the start of why does NASCAR drivers fight like the start of because nobody gets out and actually fights. I would love it if they could actually pull off a suplex or something like that. That'd be friggin' wicked. See Brad give Joey a DDT like Jake the Snake Roberts. That would be wicked. I am a massive wrestling fan too, so haven't added that to the channel on Fanside yet, but perhaps sometime. Sasha Banks with the green flag today. She actually did. She was a pro up there. She actually did the whole action perfectly. I was very impressed. Dan, could Brad end up in Kurt Busch's ride? Kurt's future's in the air. That seems to be an incredible marketing match. Monster Energy and Brad, though, I don't think so. And the reason why I think that is Monster Energy. Okay, I'm not saying that Brad's old or Kurt's old, but who else do they have connections with? I'm not suggesting this, okay? But Monster Energy might not be sticking with that team going forward. You have Riley Herbst, who has that sponsorship. I don't expect Riley would move up after 1 year. I don't think Riley's going to be that good to move up, but Haley Deegan is coming. I think we're going to see Haley Deegan with Monster Energy and Cup. That's who I think that the pairing is. She runs the one truck, the one seat is open. I don't expect that that's where she's going, but I worry about that team. That's Chip Ganassi. Okay, so Chip Ganassi is holding on by a very, very small thread right now, guys. They don't have a lot of sponsorship, and I don't know where they're going to be going. Obviously, Ross is there, but they're going to need some new partners. Credit One Bank was not featured on any of their cars, so that's a big loss. Obviously, they've lost multiple partners. Cessna, I don't believe, has been on their car for a couple of years now too. So uh, it's going to be tough to see what's going to happen in the off season. But we'll have to see. I see a comment here that I'm really excited to talk about because I watched this show as well. Um, Rob James, Jukasa is 5/8 of a mile. Yes, it is. I have been there, guys. It is a fantastic facility. Alex Nagy, former CASCAR driver, and the late Kenneth Hill. If we just actually lost Kenneth Hill, so rest in peace to Mr. Kenny Hill for that for his passing, and all condolences to him and his family, or to his family, and everybody involved with Jukasa. You didn't know also Jukasa is right across from Ohsweken Speedway, where the Pinty Series is going to run the very first dirt race this year. So we're very excited about that. JJ Jones. Oh, sorry, Corey. I live not too far from Martinsville, you lucky bastard. And Miss Rockingham Bad. I loved The Rock. I always will love The Rock. Not just the pro wrestler, but especially the track. One of my favorite races I ever saw was Kenseth versus Casey Kane there in 2004. One of the best. JJ, if Eric doesn't win this year, it could be his demise, as Tony Stewart likes winner sponsor or not. Yes, true, but we also have seen people that have stuck with teams even though they weren't winners, i.e. Germain Racing with the Geico. They didn't have any winners yet. They had people that stuck with them for many, many years because of the sponsorship. So it's very possible that he could be on his last legs. We also don't know. I don't know if Eric's going to be really willing to continue in the top division. At least I could see Eric being somebody that goes down to Xfinity or trucks. That would be a good. I think that would actually be better for him, in all honesty. Pull like a Justin Allgaier and take Smithfield with him. I could see that happening. Kenneth, I miss tracks like Rockingham and Wilkesboro. Wilkesboro, never seen it. I wasn't watching NASCAR when they were still racing at Wilkesboro, but from what I have watched at Wilkesboro, I miss it already. As somebody that never actually watched a live race, there is money that NASCAR could very well put into it. They're just choosing not to. So essentially, unless somebody's going to come up with a buttload of money, it's not going anywhere. Rob James, Logano possibly threatened by Blaney? Nope. I think Penske likes Logano, and I don't think he's going anywhere. I think if anything, Blaney would be the one to go. Honestly, I don't want that, but I think you've got kind of your hierarchy with Penske, in that right now Logano and Cindric are their guys. Keselowski and Blaney, I think, are lower on the totem pole. Okay, Steven. Don't bring up that fucking DDT with John West Townley and Spencer Gallagher at Gateway. That was embarrassing. That was on every friggin' highlight reel for Sports Center, and it was just embarrassing. Oh, an awful, awful, awful thing. Dan Larkin once again. Know what show I missed? Inside Winston Nextel Cup with Chad Knaus, Michael Waltrip, Kenny Shader, Dave Despain. NASCAR is missing stuff like this right now. You're fucking right. You're fucking right. And you know why? Because I watched Inside Winston Cup. I watched Totally NASCAR. Inside Winston Cup was my shit, man. Johnny Benson, Michael Waltrip, Alan Bestwick, and Kenny Schrader. It was the original, the OGs. There was another one that actually had... I want to say maybe it was John Roberts. I don't know who the host was. Maybe Dave Despain back then too, and it had Derek Cope and Barry Dodson on it as the co-hosts. So yeah, that was a fucking great show. We're trying to get one of those names that I just mentioned on Fanside for an interview. So if we can get one of those guys, it'll be a good one. Kenneth, WWE fan as well. Glad to see Sasha drop the green flag today. She looked great and is great on TV. One of the things that I think works really well with NASCAR is pro wrestling. Not just WWE, but AEW being from Florida would be a perfect combination to do events like that. Just no more fucking drivers on the shows. Like, that is corny and cheesy as it is. But I would love to see an AEW or a WWE car fully sponsored. Way back in the day in CASCAR, we used to have a WWF car. And we've seen the NWO cars, the old WCW cars that used to run in the Nationwide or Xfinity / Busch series, and even in the Cup series. So yeah, definitely. It was only WCW though. We haven't really seen a WWE like fully sponsored car for more than just one race. Normally, it's in combination with like GameStop for a race, but it would be cool to see that. Um, Michael Gandhi, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you here. Kept dozing off, but Joey is a good driver. Debatable. No, he's a good driver. He's a little too aggressive, I think. Very similar to what I expect to see from you know who I expect to see it actually from is Noah Gragson. I think Gragson will be the exact same way. Um, Not a big fan, but I like aggressive drivers. Need more of them. More of them. Aggressive to a degree, though, right? We want aggressive, just not constantly wrecking people, right? Steven Gibson, I've seen one race at Rockingham as I started watching the year it had its last race in 2004. That was a good start, man. 2004, man. I started watching in 02, and I was more of an IndyCar guy. We used to watch the Molson Indy every year, and NWO Kyle Petty, yeah, that's right, Freddie. NWO number 49, Kyle Petty, man. That was a beautiful car. We also got the, I don't know if I have it on display here or not. I could bring it out if I could find it, but no, I put it back. It's not there anymore. The 29 WCW Steve Grissom car. Also Jerry Nadeau in the 13. I think he had Goldberg on the car at some point. So yeah, definitely wrestling and racing go together. JJ Jones thought it was neat. The New Profits, Street Profits, buddy, Street Profits. Unless they've called themselves a new name now. I don't know if they've changed it, but the Profits gave Chase Elliott a WWE title belt the other day. Did they change their name, JJ? Because I haven't been watching, but I knew them as the Street Profits. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, right? So Montez Ford, that's a pretty good dude. I'm a big fan of his wife, actually, Bianca Belair. Huge fan. I think she's fantastic. So, Corey, hopefully NASCAR can get back to the late 90s popularity and more people get into it. Bristol in the dirt should be interesting. You know what? A lot of people, myself included, not a big fan of Bristol going on dirt, but you know what? I've also not been a fan of Bristol recently. Ever since they did the progressive banking back in 2007, they fucking ruined the track. And yeah, I would definitely say that the popularity could very well do very well. And maybe a lot of people don't want to hear this, but Bubba Wallace does have a lot to do with that. Bringing a whole different fan base, bringing more people of different nationalities and races, different people with, people with different orientations are coming to the sport. NASCAR being welcoming to them. Listen, as much as people might not like it, tough shit. That's the way that sports work. And the more people you get, the more interest you're going to get, potentially more sponsors, more teams. Alvin Kamara was saying today that he wants to fucking start a race team. That's fucking great. We need more of that shit. You can be salty as fuck if you want, but keep it to yourself. Honestly, this is good news, man. We need more people coming to the sport. And listen, I think we're past the days of old redneck racist, comments and shit like that. If you want people to come into the sport, man, we want to see people come in and make a big deal. Dan, I'm gonna say I fucking hate you for this because you know what? That Pocono Mayfield and Earnhardt battle, that was the very first time I saw a NASCAR race on TV. The last couple laps when Earnhardt moved him out of the way. Oh, dude. And he pulled he pulled the move. What was it? What was the thing about it was Jesus, what was it? It was he actually said, I just wanted to rattle his cage a little bit and pulled the old Earnhardt quote. I love that. That was great. Mayfield was, he was one of the guys. Kenneth, maybe NASCAR could get a car with a wrestler on it since WrestleMania is coming up. I'm surprised they haven't done that. Honestly, I would have expected WrestleMania would be on a car. Because I create fictionals for NR 2003, and one of the cars that I created was like a rotating sponsorship for them with the WWE Network, Raw, SmackDown, and it's Corey. Yeah, too bad he was on drugs, right? Uh, damn right about that. Meth is one hell of a drug. And and then of course NXT. You know, I'm a huge fan of NXT, and I think now with Tony Khan and AEW, that's a perfect opportunity to get some good wrestling on race cars again. Um, Steven Gibson. Yeah, no, Steven, they're not going to spend any money on racing. Nope. Vince is too cheap for that. Hell, they stopped spending money on their own network now and just gave it to NBC. So, um, yeah, not. I actually, I'm going to take this opportunity and tell you what my pitch was. Okay. Okay. If anybody here knows what the WWE network, obviously you can get every single pay-per-view that WWE has ever had, every show that they've ever had, plus their own original content, plus pay-per-views, all uh for a what was it, like $9.99 in America. Up here it was like $13 a month, but you got everything, and you could watch on online or on certain apps and stuff. Why not get a NASCAR channel like that? Speed Channel used to be the shit, man. That was where you go for everything. Well, NASCAR should invest in that. You can get qualifying. You can get all the past races, NASCAR classics. You can get all these old Speed Channel programming. You can get um, uh, live streaming of the modifieds, of the Pinty series, of the ARCA East West and national championships, of the Wheeling, the weekly NASCAR weekly Wheeling series, um, the big races. Then you're not switching back and forth between Fox and NBC, and it doesn't matter if it's on the NBC Sports Network or if it's on FS1. You automatically now have all these options. You hire all the people that you currently have. If NASCAR was smart, they would make a streaming service their next service, because people would pay tons of money for that. I think I would be willing to pay $20 if I got access to all NASCAR programming on one channel. Are you kidding me? That would be amazing. But we'll see. Steven Gibson. So anyone excited? Anyone excited for the next weekend? Could be a better race than the 500. I know I love the Clash. Yeah, I think it will be. If it rains, sign me up. All three series racing, hell yes. Dan Larkin, Bristol has been a shit show. That track needs to be fixed. I remember trying to buy tickets. It was almost a 10. It was a 10-year wait for a long time. It was. Yeah. Corey Ramsey. Only thing with Bubba, he just isn't a great driver. Top 15 is a good day for him. Hope okay. So, Corey, we don't know if he's a good driver, and I'll tell you why. Because of the equipment he's been in. Roush, not top equipment. Petty, not top equipment. You can't go out and say that somebody is not a good driver if we really haven't had an opportunity to see them do it. This is, Corey, I think this is the time where we're going to be able to tell if he is or not. So I might agree with you, but I think we have to wait till the end of this year, because I don't think we can make that judgment because he hasn't been in the top equipment in Cup. Now he is. You can't tell me that he's not in top equipment. It is now. Okay? It is now. And he was running up front today, but what happened? He didn't have a great finish. That has been his problem. And I'm not going to use the Achilles heel because I fucking hate using that. So his problem is that he can't finish. He's able to get to the show, but is not able to just pull it off, unfortunately. Stephen Gibson. Oh yes, NASCAR should do a streaming service like that, but NASCAR president came out the other day and said that isn't anywhere near the future. Give it 10 years and I can see it. Freddie, damn, me and friend actually had the same conversation last month. Corey, because it's too late to get into streaming. No, I would disagree on that. NASCAR is its own product. It's not going to be partnering up with Netflix, Hulu, or Disney Plus. Why? Because none of those have any interest in NASCAR right now. Where I do see a potential for them is if they're going to end up, unfortunately, Jesus. Unfortunately, you know what's going to happen, though? You know what's going to happen? I see what's going to happen. I see what's going to happen is they're going to partner up and be stuck behind a paywall at NBC. I can just see it happening. Our IndyCar content in Canada has gone behind a paywall for most of it. Sportsnet pretty much got left out in the rain last year. That base Sportsnet is what covers the IndyCar series for us here, and they basically fucked us over. And a lot of it was um, not available, or if we were lucky, it was on the main NBC channel. We were able to watch that. Sportsnet basically put it behind their own paywall. It was fucking ridiculous. Kenneth Terry, I totally agree. A NASCAR network would be awesome. Sign me up today. If I had the money, dude, I would do it. If I had the money, I would bring Speed Channel back in an instant. That's why I think a lot of racing is suffering, is because there's not enough exposure, and Speed Channel had everything. Steven Gibson, that's why I'm sad about my favorite driver, Eric Jones. He should get a better ride than the 43. I don't know, man. He was really good in the 43, the first little bit of this race. So we'll see. Corey Ramsey, I say that about Bubba since I've seen him live lot from pre-trucks. I have too, dude. I've seen him since he was in the K&N series, and I think he's along the same lines, honestly, as Corey LaJoy, in that there is untapped potential there. There is a chance that they could get up to a great level. They just need to be in great equipment, and that's why this year is the chance for him. That's about it. Yeah, that's all I can say, really, Corey, is that he has to give it this year. And if it's not perfect, like, he's obviously not going to be released after 1 year. That's not happening. They made all this big deal for it. He's got sponsorship. He'll be there for probably a couple of years. But if he doesn't win in any of that time to cut it. I actually do think that they're going to go to 2 teams next year, or at least potentially in the future. I don't think that they would have 2 cars in their iRacing series if that wasn't their plan. They're going to probably have the 32 in the future. I really think that that's what's going to happen. And we're going to see probably like a Ty Dillon or a John Hunter Nemechek or a Harrison Burton, somebody from Toyota that's going to end up in that ride. Dan Larkin, Speed Channel was great. Up late at night, turn it on, see Sprint Cars / World of Outlaws. A couple years later, you would recognize names breaking NASCAR. That's so true. I used to watch it for the Summer Shootout series, and names like Corey LaJoy. I watched Corey LaJoy in the Bandoleros, David Reagan in the Bandoleros. That's how I found out some of these names. You know, I watched the Core Off-Road Trucks. It was fucking great series to watch. Monster Jam all the time on Speed Channel. So there was nothing better. And that's where you got to watch IMSA, IndyCar, replays at least of IndyCar. CASCAR was on Speed Channel. What else was there? ARCA, ASA, Hooters Pro Cup, Winston West, Busch East. Everything was on there, plus all the qualifying, plus the truck series. It was the best. Steven Gibson, I can actually see Netflix actually with the new Kevin James show. And from what I'm hearing, Netflix is filming right now at races. And I'm hoping it's like F1. Difference though, Steven Gibson, NASCAR is not national as much as they want to pretend they are. F1 way bigger in terms of a global scale. So they may get there, but I'm not sure how much they're doing right now. Apparently, a lot of the footage is from one race that's in the show this year. Like, they literally just filmed one race, and that's all that where their footage came from. So we'll have to see how much racing is actually involved in the show. From what I see, it doesn't appear to be a situational comedy as much as it is like behind the scenes. So we'll have to see. Corey, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to get grouped into someone else's streaming service. That's more than likely. I expect it's going to be with NBC. I don't know if Fox. I don't know. There's a lot of talk that Fox is not going to come back to it. Fox is highly invested in WWE now, as really as NBC. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where they go. We're going to be close to wrapping it up, guys. It's after 2 a.m. here in Canada. So I'm going to be hitting the hay real soon here. So just, guys, get your questions in. If you have any more, Please like, subscribe if you can to the channel. We will be here again on Thursday for an interview for an editor actually from Inside Track Magazine, and I will be back for some videos next week for the road courses. Definitely, guys. We've only got 3 likes right now, so if you can, it'd be great if you guys could just up that a little bit for me. We're just trying to build the channel as much as we can, and we'll continue on here. Rob James Jones will have some good runs this year. I think so. I think he will. I just really hope that they get more sponsors. I really hope that they do to keep going. Dan Larkin, NASCAR IndyCar would be smart to collaborate for more weekend races. I think they're going to. I think it's definitely in the works very much. Thank you guys for the likes. Wow, I appreciate that so much for you guys actually doing that when I ask that. That means so much. Thank you. Both series are in such a weak position ratings wise. It would be amazing to see. I really expect, dude, that Dan, that we're going to see that. I think 2022, I wouldn't be shocked if Gateway becomes a Cup and or IndyCar split weekend, not just Indy. That would be kind of cool. Freddie, wish they showed an in at camera to see when the yellow came out. Yeah. NASCAR likes to dictate certain things. So if they don't feel it's in their best interest, they're not going to release that. Just speaking as a longtime NASCAR fan, that's normally how they go. IndyCar to the Charlotte Roval, that is going to happen. That's why they were testing there. So that is going to happen. An in-car. I'm so sorry, Freddie. That's what you meant. No, I don't think they were going to do that either. Again, they dictate what they want fans to see. You can't tell me that there's been races before that were hog shit when the caution came out. They dictate. That's what they do. There's been a lot of races. Listen, Regan Smith got the biggest shaft when he was forced below the yellow line and should have won in the 01, and he didn't. That was hog shit. And then you have somebody like Brennan Poole who stayed on the track but yet lost the race, even though Elliott Sadler was beneath the yellow line in the Xfinity Series when he won. So, it's coming down to what NASCAR dictates, really. And I don't think that they would do anything to take it away, and that's the unfortunate thing, but that's the thing. Rob James, thank you so much. I don't actually send out email addresses, but listen, dude, if you can subscribe, follow me on social media, guys, at CamK Racing, just one word. I'm on social media. You can also find the podcast at Fanside RCW. Okay. We're still looking for viewers. We're still pretty brand new. We just launched in October. So Rob, I really appreciate you coming in and asking questions. I really want to thank you for that. Thank you so much. Kenneth Terry, glad to see Chase Elliott finally finished. Yeah, I'm glad he did well too. Steven, as a Smoke fan, I will always disagree with Smith getting the win. Yeah, I can believe that. I just think it was funny seeing Tony Stewart in the subway car for many years. I never ever, when he was with the Burger King car, it made more sense. But Stewart and Smoke and Subway just weren't a combination you could ever really picture. Carl and Subway, yeah, but Stewart, nah, I couldn't remember that. Yeah, for sure. Dan, speaking of speed and all the series that you mentioned, I really miss the days of ratings battle between NASCAR, Champ Car, Indy. Racing in general has missed the bus with streaming. Yeah, they have. Absolutely, they have. Social media racing used to be number one with fan interaction. It's gone completely downhill. We're trying to get that way with the NASCAR Penny Series. Myself and Graydon, we really want to try and get the word out there, try and get some American fans to come up and actually watch some Pinty's races with us. Yeah. But guys, the allergies are here. The throat is dry. We've been going at this for almost an hour, well, just over an hour and a half. You guys have made this the best week of my life. I was not doing these regularly, and the reaction that I've gotten from fans like you guys leads me to believe that this is something that we're going to continue doing, and we're going to do it for the rest of the season. trying to continue to build this. So if you can, guys, share. I don't want donations. I don't want accolades. I just want to get more people to say, hey, here's this guy. He's got his buddy Graydon Bunn, who's unfortunately not able to join us, but and we got guest hosts at times. We're trying to do this as Canadians. We're not all about hockey and beer and maple syrup up here, although that is a good chunk of our lives. The blood may be filled with maple syrup, but the passion of racing is still deep within our hearts. So I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in, for leaving comments like this, for really showing this young fat guy that there is some real good racing fans out there, some real good people out there, and we're a community, guys. I'm not going to tear nobody down for liking racing, and there's a bunch of young YouTubers in the scenario right now. There's a lot of great young talent here. I'm a lot older than some of those guys at the ripe old age of 29, but I used to play with my 164 cars on the kitchen table pretending I was Alan Bestwick because I wanted to talk racing and I wanted to be involved in racing. And being in Canada, it's a little hard to get to work down in Charlotte and be a part of NASCAR. So I wanted to take the opportunity to do this. And you guys seriously have made this such a fucking blast. And I call you guys my friends. We are, as much as people on social media and fans that maybe are rivals and like different people like to tear each other apart. You're not going to get that here. Okay. I'm not tearing you guys. I'm not tearing anybody apart because I'm just happy that you're tuning in and you're watching racing. So thank you guys. It means a lot, Steven. Thank you. I see your, I see, and Dan too. Thank you guys. Those are really kind words. Dave Despain would be a huge get. I would love to get him. We're actually working on another person that I idolized growing up. So if we can get him, it would be huge. Best work since you've seen the NASCAR Weekly podcast. That means a lot, guys. Wow. Those young kids are really good. You made this weekend for me. Oh, Kenneth, man, you made it for me. I can't thank you guys enough, really. We're not all about like I said, guys, we're not all about our maple syrup. We like our motors and our cars, and one of these days you guys come on up once COVID's all finished. Come up to a NASCAR Penny Series race. You'll see me there. I hope to try and get down to a racetrack in the United States at some point, but we're trying to continue to build this. So if you can, share it amongst your NASCAR friends, share it amongst your NASCAR groups. But everybody have a wonderful night. Have a safe night. Stay safe out there. Recover from this and get ready for some road course racing. I appreciate all of you guys. So thank you so much. Have a great night. Okay. Before I go, I did forget to mention again, follow me on social media. Okay. Majorly on Twitter at Cam K Racing. I will put a message in this right now. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Stay safe. Okay. And we will chat next weekend.